They say blood is thicker than water, but sometimes your own blood can poison you. I'm Evelyn, born in 1946 in small-town Ohio. Back in 2023 at 77, my daughter Melissa fed me pig food for months, telling me it was nutritious stew. I felt humiliated and broken, but then something happened that changed everything. Today, at 78 and finally free, I'm sharing this because no elder should suffer in silence like I did. If you're listening, drop your location below and please subscribe. This story needs to be heard. It started innocently enough. After my nasty fall down the basement stairs last spring, my son Daniel insisted I move in with him and Melissa. "Mom, we can't have you living alone anymore," he said, his voice thick with concern. I packed my life into boxes, sold my little house on Maple Street, and moved into their spacious suburban home in Columbus. The first few weeks felt like a blessing. Melissa would bring me meals on pretty china plates, always with a warm smile. "Here's your dinner, Mom," she'd say sweetly, setting down what looked like hearty beef stew. The meat seemed a bit odd, chewier than usual with a strange aftertaste, but I figured it was just a different recipe. I trusted her completely. She was family. But slowly things began to change. The smiles became forced. The conversations grew shorter. Melissa started avoiding eye contact when she served my meals. I noticed she and Daniel ate different foods: steaks, roasted chicken, pasta dishes, while I got the same mysterious stew day after day. When I asked to join them for dinner, Melissa would shake her head. "Oh, your digestive system can't handle rich food at your age. This special stew has all the nutrients you need." The turning point came on a Tuesday evening in September. I was heading to the kitchen for water when I heard Melissa on the phone in the pantry. "Yes, I need another case of the beef chunks and gravy," she was saying. "The large cans for senior dogs with sensitive stomachs." My blood turned to ice. Senior dogs? I crept closer, my heart pounding so loud I was sure she'd hear it. "She eats it without question," Melissa continued with a cruel laugh. "Saves us a fortune on groceries." I stumbled back to my room, my hands shaking. Pig food. She'd been feeding me pig food for months. The realization hit me like a physical blow. The strange texture, the odd smell, the way she insisted I eat separately. I felt sick, violated, completely betrayed. That night I barely slept, my mind racing between fury and heartbreak. But I'm not just any grandmother. I spent 30 years as a legal secretary, and I know how evidence works. The next morning I began my investigation. When Melissa left for her yoga class, I searched the pantry. Hidden behind boxes of cereal I found them: 6 large cans of senior dog food, beef chunks and gravy. The label showed a golden retriever, and the ingredients list made my stomach turn. This wasn't fit for human consumption, especially not for someone my age. I photographed everything with my old digital camera. The cans, the labels, the hiding spot. I started a notebook, documenting every meal, every lie, every cruel comment. September 15th, served pig food again, claimed it was specially prepared for my health. I kept detailed records of my declining energy, my digestive issues, my growing confusion that I now realized was malnutrition. The evidence gathering became my secret mission. I discovered Melissa's online ordering history on their shared computer. Monthly deliveries of bulk dog food, always charged to Daniel's credit card. The financial record showed hundreds of dollars spent on pet food, while their grocery bills mysteriously dropped. I printed everything, organizing it in a hidden folder under my mattress. 3 weeks into my investigation, I called my grandson Caleb, a sharp law student at Ohio State. "Grandma, what you're describing isn't just elder abuse," he said, his voice tight with anger. "It's fraud, potentially criminal neglect. We need more evidence before we confront them." He coached me on what to document: times, dates, witnesses, medical effects. I reached out to my old friend Marcy, a retired pharmacist. When I showed her the dog food cans, her face went white. "Evelyn, this could have killed you," she whispered. "The nutritional content is completely wrong for humans, especially elderly people. Your kidney function, your blood pressure. This explains why you've been feeling so weak." She wrote a detailed medical assessment of the potential health impacts, which I added to my growing file. Every day brought new evidence. I overheard Melissa bragging to her sister about the money we're saving on the old lady's food. I documented Daniel's complicit silence. He had to know what was happening. I photographed my own declining health, the weight loss, the exhaustion that I'd blamed on aging but now understood was malnutrition. The most damning evidence came from their trash. After they went to bed, I'd sneak outside and photograph the empty dog food cans mixed with their regular garbage. The contrast was stark: expensive steaks and fresh vegetables for them, industrial pet food for me. I felt like a detective building a case, except the criminal was my own daughter, and I was both the investigator and the victim. By October, I had compiled a devastating portfolio of abuse, but I needed help to execute my plan for justice. That's when I called my other grandson, Aaron, the third-year law student with a reputation for brilliant courtroom strategy. When I explained everything, the silence on the phone stretched so long I thought the call had dropped. Finally he spoke, his voice deadly calm. "Grandma, by the time I'm done with them, they'll regret the day they decided to abuse you." Aaron arrived the next weekend with a briefcase and a fire in his eyes that reminded me of his grandfather. "Grandma, we're going to destroy them legally and emotionally," he said, spreading my evidence across the dining room table. He organized everything with military precision: financial records, medical statements, photographs, and a detailed timeline of abuse. This isn't just elder abuse anymore. With the financial fraud and deliberate endangerment, we're looking at potential felony charges. We spent hours crafting our strategy. Aaron suggested a family meeting, but not just any gathering, a full-scale confrontation with every relative present. "We need witnesses," he explained, "and we need Melissa to confess in front of everyone." He helped me draft a script, coaching me on exactly what to say and when. "You'll be the prosecutor, Grandma. I'll be your co-counsel." The setup was perfect. I called my sister Margaret, my brother Tom, and all my grandchildren, inviting them for Sunday dinner. "I have something important to discuss about my living situation," I told each of them mysteriously. Melissa seemed pleased. She probably thought I was announcing my move to a nursing home, solving her problem permanently. Sunday arrived gray and cold, matching my mood. As family members filled the living room, Aaron set up his laptop discreetly in the corner. I served coffee and pastries, playing the gracious hostess one last time. Melissa sat smugly beside Daniel, probably calculating how much money they'd save once I was gone. "I've asked you all here," I began, my voice steady despite my racing heart, "because I've discovered something that will shock you." I paused, watching Melissa's confident expression begin to waver. "For the past 6 months, my daughter has been feeding me dog food, telling me it was specially prepared stew for my health." The room erupted. Margaret gasped, Tom jumped to his feet, and my grandchildren started talking at once. But Melissa just sat there, her face cycling through surprise, denial, and finally cold calculation. "That's ridiculous," she snapped. "You're getting senile, Evelyn. Making up stories." That's when Aaron stepped forward. "Actually, we have extensive documentation." He opened his laptop, and suddenly the room filled with the click of his presentation. Photo after photo flashed on the wall: the hidden dog food cans, the online purchase orders, the financial records showing the discrepancy between their grocery bills and pet food expenses. Melissa's face went white. "This is entrapment," she whispered. "No," I said, standing straighter than I had in months. "This is justice." I pulled out Marcy's medical report. "According to a licensed pharmacist, the nutritional deficiencies from your special stew could have killed me. My kidney problems, my weight loss, my confusion. all directly caused by feeding me food meant for animals. Daniel finally found his voice. Mama, I didn't know. I thought Melissa was taking good care of you. Liar, Aaron said coldly. Your credit card statements show you personally approved every dog food purchase. You're just as guilty as she is. The evidence was overwhelming. Aaron presented recorded conversations, witness statements from neighbors who'd seen the dog food deliveries, and even testimony from the veterinary supply company confirming the bulk orders. Melissa tried to defend herself, claiming she was trying to save money, but every word just dug her deeper. You stole from me, I said, my voice growing stronger with each accusation. You took my dignity, my health, my trust. You made me feel worthless while you lived off my social security checks and the money from selling my house. That's when I dropped the biggest bomb. Which is why I'm selling this house. The room went dead silent. I checked the deed this morning. When I moved in, you convinced me to add my name for tax purposes. Surprise, I own half of this property. And I'm selling my half to Aaron for $1. Melissa lunged forward. You can't do that. We live here. Actually, she can, Aaron said with a satisfied smile. And as the new co-owner, I'm exercising my right to demand immediate sale of the entire property. You have 30 days to find new housing. The family meeting dissolved into chaos. Some relatives sided with us, horrified by the abuse. Others tried to play peacemaker, suggesting we work things out. But I was done with family diplomacy. I had my evidence, my grandson's legal expertise, and most importantly, my dignity back. Over the next 2 weeks, Aaron filed official complaints with Adult Protective Services and the district attorney's office. We prepared a civil lawsuit for elder abuse, fraud, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The house went on the market, and potential buyers started touring while Melissa and Daniel scrambled to find anywhere else to live. My granddaughter Chloe offered me her spare bedroom. Grandma, you can stay as long as you want, she said, hugging me tight. Moving into her bright apartment felt like stepping into sunlight after months in a cave. Real food, genuine care, conversations that didn't revolve around my supposed incapacity. I remembered what it felt like to be human again. A month later, Daniel sent a handwritten letter of apology. He claimed he'd been manipulated by Melissa, that he was filing for divorce, that he wanted to make amends. I read it once and threw it away. Some betrayals cut too deep for simple apologies. Melissa moved back to her mother's house in another state. The criminal charges are still pending, but Aaron assures me we have an airtight case. The civil lawsuit will probably settle out of court, but the money was never the point. The point was proving that I wasn't just some discarded old woman to be fed scraps and forgotten. Today, I wake up in Chloe's sunny kitchen, eating raw eggs and fresh fruit while she gets ready for work. I have my health back, my strength back, and most importantly, my voice back. No one will ever silence me again, or make me feel less than human. If this story resonates with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to hear more. Share this with anyone who needs to know that age doesn't equal helplessness. Comment below with your own experiences or lessons learned. Remember, sometimes the sweetest revenge is simply refusing to stay silent. Remember, dignity isn't lost with age. It's only surrendered when we stop fighting for it with courage, wisdom, and the unwavering support of those who truly love us.